Greetings, Internet users. When we look through a telescope at planets, we confirm that their shape is spherical. It's not even necessary to use a telescope to observe the sun. As long as you view it with the appropriate protection, you'll see it as round. The moon, in its full phase, is also round. Absolutely all planets within and beyond our solar system have this round or spherical shape. Their rotation around their axis already indicates their spherical nature. Our planet, Earth, is certainly not an exception. Despite the appearance that we live in a flat world, the truth is that our planet is so large that it's almost impossible to verify its curvature. Perhaps the only way to verify it without going into space is on the open ocean without obstacles. When we see a ship gradually disappear over the horizon or only the mast becomes visible, that's a clear indication of the Earth's curvature. There's a reason why Earth is spherical and not of another shape. The answer to this lies in the force of gravity. As we've seen in other videos, when planets form, millions of rocks, gas, and dust come together and collide. The more they unite, the stronger gravity becomes, attracting more pieces. This leads to an exponential increase in their mass and consequently their gravity. All matter concentrates around their centers, and when a body is large enough, it becomes rounded. Gravitational attraction is symmetrical, pushing molten material towards the center in all directions. The only shape that a body can take in this scenario is a sphere. When planets cooled down over millions of years, they remained in this shape. The sphere is the most compact geometric figure and also the largest. Take a piece of cotton and compress it from all directions, and you'll get a sphere. Soap bubbles follow this principle as well. Every bubble you create, regardless of its size, will be spherical if the materials are solid enough. Only bodies with significant mass tend to form spheres. Typically, an object with a diameter of over 900 kilometers will tend to be spherical. Asteroids and similar bodies generally lack spherical form because they don't have enough mass to generate a strong enough gravitational force to attract nearby objects. As material is progressively added to a celestial body, it gradually becomes spherical. This characteristic defines planets and stars. But let's not be misled. Planets are not exactly perfectly spherical or round because their rotational speed works against gravity. This causes a slight flattening at the poles. The most flattened planet in the solar system is Saturn, due to its rapid rotation and fluid nature. It has a low gravity similar to ours, but with a diameter 9 times greater. Every celestial body, object, and material in the universe creates a gravitational field around it, the reach of which depends on its size and mass. If you could see Earth from space, you'd notice it's almost spherical. However, not all large objects in the universe are spherical. Galaxies, for instance, often have irregular shapes. Many of them take the form of disks, similar to our own Milky Way. This is because galaxies are composed of gas, dust, stars, and interstellar bodies that don't have direct contact. In a system where materials don't have direct contact and objects carry velocity toward a center of mass without touching, the most compact form is a disk. The initial rotation also plays a role. The nature of the formation process determines this. For example, in our solar system, the configuration of the 8 planets forms a disk, just like our galaxy, Andromeda, and many others. So, those who believe we live on a flat disk have some truth, but not about Earth, rather about the galaxy. There's a lot of misinformation in space science, as it's not frequently taught in schools. But let's continue. Another question is, why do astronauts float in space? One might think it's because there's little gravity, but that's not the whole story. It's more complex. The concept of zero gravity is often misunderstood. When we speak of zero gravity, we naturally think there's no gravity at that height, or it's too weak to be felt, causing astronauts to float. However, the term zero gravity is used because of the sensation experienced, not the actual reality. To understand this, let's take a journey to Earth's orbit. This is the most effective way to access space. Hello, navigators. We'll ascend through Earth's atmosphere and, at a certain point, we'll need to turn to increase our horizontal velocity. This is necessary to orbit Earth. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, liftoff. Ready for the second phase. Second phase completed. Third phase. Orbital mechanics dictate that the only safe way to go to space and return is by acquiring an orbit around Earth, just like another moon. Once in orbit, and at a speed of about 8 kilometers per second at an altitude of around 300 kilometers, the spacecraft's engines detach. The spacecraft is continuously falling toward Earth, but due to Earth's curvature, it follows its shape. The velocity is sufficient to maintain an orbit around Earth. If we were to decrease our horizontal speed, we'd gradually descend, breaking the balance between our speed and gravity. This is why we float, we're in constant free fall toward Earth without crashing into it. This is called an orbit. The same principle applies to airplanes in free fall. The crew experiences a brief period of weightlessness, falling at the same rate as gravity's attraction. An orbit is somewhat like a dance where both partners spin with their arms open, maintaining a balance of forces. Thanks to orbits, the planets in the solar system avoid crashing into the sun. Right now, we're in free fall, but we don't feel it. So, when we look at Earth, it appears still. However, we're traveling at over 27,000 kilometers per hour, even if it doesn't seem like it. Weightlessness is amazing. When we exit the spacecraft, we need propulsion suits to maintain control. Otherwise, any movement could send us drifting away. According to Newton's law, an object will maintain its state of rest or uniform motion unless acted upon by an external force. To return to Earth, we simply decrease our horizontal speed. The spacecraft must rotate in the opposite direction of its motion to decrease speed mathematically calculated to ensure a smooth descent. The Earth itself will gradually decrease our altitude with the engines off. Atmospheric friction further reduces horizontal speed. If our spacecraft has wings, landing becomes complex, requiring precise planning to use remaining orbit velocity. A more economical option is landing in the ocean or on land using parachutes if the spacecraft is a capsule. In this case, we'll land at Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam. It seems we miscalculated. We've deviated thousands of kilometers from our target. Let's use our technology and get out of here. Self-destruction in 10 seconds. We've covered why bodies tend to be spherical and why astronauts float. This is closely tied to orbits and interplanetary travel. The physical laws of our universe and the spherical nature of celestial bodies dictate that we adopt elliptical orbits for the most efficient and effective space travel methods we have today. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share on social media, and leave your comments.